description of a couple of our option-specific algos. So the most common, and I hesitate to even call auto hedge an algo. I think a lot of people here are familiar with what an auto hedge order is. Let me add my order book in here so we can take a look at what this looks like in auto hedge fashion. Auto hedge will trade the appropriate number of futures to get you delta neutral on your trade based on our calculated delta. So in this case, if I want to buy 50 of these 63 puts, my delta is approximately 30. If I enable auto hedge and I submit this order to buy 50, and I want to make sure I get a fill, so I'm going to go ahead and take this up. I'm working to buy 50, $1.64. Once again, we have a slight delay with our internal matching engine, but once we do get filled on this 50 lot, we're going to see that we are going to buy the puts, and auto hedge will automatically buy the underlying future against it to get you delta neutral. So here I bought 50 puts with a 30 delta, that would be 15 futures. So we see that I did execute 12, 13, 14, 15, total of 15 futures on that order. As it stands right now, the auto hedge feature is a limit order that goes in at the top of the book. There's a project in the works right now to allow users to apply an algorithm to their auto hedge order so that you can work your auto hedge. In the last session, I talked a little bit about our standard algos, but for example, you might want to work your auto hedge with a tick, or as we call it, take diminishing size. So that capability will be coming. As it is right now, once again, we are just putting in a limit order at the top of the book that will hedge your trade and get you delta neutral. In addition to trade by price, I'm going to take a look here at another feature, trade by vol. So by volatility. So in my order ticket, I'm looking now at this 69 put. Actually, I'm going to choose a higher delta instrument for this demonstration, so you can see effectively what goes on when you put in a volatility order. So I'm going to look at these 60 calls. And if I want to trade these in volatility terms rather than in price terms, you have that capability. Now, because the volatility is dependent on the price versus the future, you'll see that when I put this order in, we'll see it working in the order book, the order is going to adjust based on the move in the underlying to maintain that volatility level. So the current vol level is 39.7. Let's buy a 10 lot of these and let's trade it at a 38.5 vol so we can see it working. I'm going to submit a 10 lot as a vol order. We can see in our order book that this is working at a price of 731. So I didn't specify that 731 price, but the volatility level that corresponds to my 38.5 vol is 731. Now you can see that this order is adjusting. It's moving, and that's because the underlying is moving. So we see that my algo attached here is a volatility algo. If I were to take that call and stick it in the ladder, you get an even better example of how we are working this order in automated fashion. So we can see here that that 730 bid is working, and as since it's a call, as the underlying breaks, that order was adjusted to 729. That is the algo working that price for us. As the underlying, I was hoping, there we go, a little bit of movement there in the underlying. I was hoping crude futures would be moving a little bit more for this demonstration, but you can see that that order is repriced to maintain that volatility level, depending on where the underlying market moves. I'm going to go ahead and cancel that order from my order book. And there are a couple more algos that I want to talk about briefly, specifically pertaining to options. Now, all of our algos that are designed for futures can be used for options. OCO orders, bracket orders, take diminishing size, stop orders, these all can be used on options. But there are a couple of algos that are very specific to options. So I talked about auto hedge, I talked about volatility order. Minimum edge order is another. In a minimum edge order, I can specify the edge that I need to capture for this trade to to keep working this trade. And what will happen is if my price has not met the minimum edge criteria, the order will be canceled. So this is a way, it's sort of like a pseudo electronic eye. It's a way to keep orders working and give yourself some protection to make sure that you have edge in your order. Another option algo that has been very popular is a contingent order. So I can trade this option contingent on a specific future price. Some people like to think of this as auto hedge in reverse. In this case, I would be looking for a future price, the underlying future price of 66.43. When that price is met, the contingent algo will go and grab the option at my price. So it's effectively you're hedging your future with an option rather than hedging an option with a future. This is most often used in more illiquid markets where getting the hedge on an auto hedge is not guaranteed. If you've got a thin market, if you've got a choppy market, this is the algo that you would probably want to use.